Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Runt's Barbecue. It's the weekly Muskogee River Football Coaches Show, live from Runt's Barbecue. And, Coach, it's gotten cold on the outside. Perfect night to bring your family and come and dive into the catfish, the barbecue, the ribs, the burn-ins. And what people can't see behind the camera is Shane Stewart's already feeding his face and trying to keep from getting barbecue sauce all over the computer as we operate tonight from Runt's Barbecue. But we've said it all season long. Rafe, I don't know, can it get any crazier than what the current condition is for Muskogee football?
I'd like to say no, and every time I say something, it proves me wrong. I made the fatal mistake a couple of weeks ago or a week and a half ago saying, well, as many of the injuries as we had and as crazy a year as it's been, at least, knock on wood, we haven't had any COVID. Well, famous last words. Last week we have our first case, and we had a second case today, and again, you just hope and pray the whole time it doesn't happen because you hear of all. I've got buddies throughout the state, and they're like, "Gosh, we lost a couple today." And of course, I don't think there's a program in the state that hasn't had people that's had the contact tracing. I mean, that's virtually impossible.
Exactly.
To not have some contact tracing, but you just hope you never have a case of it. But unfortunately, we have, and we've had a second, and you just hope that it ends at that point. But you take all the precautions you possibly can. We spray before and after practice. You wear masks. You do things. But once again, it's society. You go out and you're wherever you go to, and it's in the air. I mean, whenever the president can get it, whenever the pros are spraying down with
Sure.
the best thing there is possible, and I think the Patriots have shut down 4 times
Right.
since they started. So I mean, it's just. I guess it was just a hopeful thought, but unfortunately we have had that, and it certainly had messed with us last week. And now then I think that, and again, it was from the higher-ups, but I think they made a correct decision this time of shutting things down for 2 weeks. I think that was the smartest thing to do, and while it's still, it hurt us for playing this week and next week for the regular season with the way things are set up now. If you do get a playoff, we would have the opportunity to come back on that Monday or Tuesday the 10th. Haven't even looked at it. I don't know if that's a Monday
It's
or
a
the Tuesday.
Tuesday. It's
Tuesday
7
the
days
10th.
after the end of the election
The 3rd,
period.
so okay, it's a week after that. So it'd be a Tuesday and still be able to go to the playoffs if that's what they choose to let us do. And then, of course, it'll all have to be weighed out to what things do. Today, Dr. Parker and I talked to the kids, 7th hour. We're not able to do any football, so we're doing study hall to make sure everybody's grades are as good as they possibly can be. And social distancing on it, of course, with the mask. And just told them, guys, a lot of it's going to be up to you. And, again, it's when you leave here. Yes, the school makes you wear masks, and we make you wear masks.
And separate.
But when you go home, you can't sit there with 7 or 8 of you in a front room and playing your video games and expect the things not to happen. And so it's difficult to get across sometimes, but hopefully they will, and hopefully we'll be able to play that one playoff game there to at least get an opportunity at that and go from there.
It's really weird how this whole thing, I mean, honestly, if you gave me truth serum, Rafe, I wasn't sure we would ever get to the district part of the schedule.
I remember you talking
the way
about
things were going on there late in the summer and early part of August. Then we got through those first 3 weeks, even went across the border and played at Arkansas, came back, and then lo and behold, one by one, inch by inch, it kind of began to multiply. And, when all this stuff came out last week about the addition of everybody going to the postseason, my first reaction was one like, why? This makes absolutely no sense. But then as I delved into it a little bit more, and I found out teams such as Tallahena, until last Friday night, they had not played a game since week 2.
Yeah.
For those kids to get cheated out of their season and this to be a way in which they could at least experience a playoff opportunity, okay, it's fine. Let's go play football. I personally, now,
until it affects you, you really don't.
I'm ready for November 10th to get here and then say, yeah, we're going to play.
Right. Until it affects you, even though we were not winning ball games,
right.
We hadn't been affected by it until Putnam City West. And then, there was that's been a crazy ongoing deal.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be playing them tonight if everything would have been going as was expected. But it's, I've never seen anybody, which none of us, I've talked to a bunch of guys throughout the state, and the coach from Lawton called me Sunday and was asking about, what does it look like in the playoff from here? And I'm just sitting here, gosh, who knows? And now then I know that's going to be a segment of ours of how all that's working out, and how we've changed that up from district play. But who knows? And they've been hit really hard down in southwestern Oklahoma. Lawton has had several games implemented from that. Same way with Lawton Ike and Lawton MacArthur. So they've all had deals cash. So southwestern Oklahoma's been one of the areas of the state that's been hit hard too. So it's difficult. I don't know that there's a right answer, but there's a lot of people. Not COVID, I promise. Choked on spit. But there is a lot of people that has ideas and think they know the answers, but I don't know what the correct answer is. I think that you just try to do what's best for you and your program and your kids, and that's all you can do.
I want to throw a question at you, let you think about it during the break, and I'll get your answer afterward. And this year ranks at the top, way above everything else. But I want you to think about the weirdest circumstances you've ever encountered as a head football coach in your storied career. And I know you've got several roller coaster moments that you can flash back to, but think about what would have ranked number one had it not been for the C word, COVID-19, here in 2020. We're going to take our first time out. When we come back, Rafe and I will talk a little about the weirdness of his coaching career and what that strange moment might have been, and also talk about the upcoming playoffs as they lie now. And then later on in our break, we're going to talk about two, not one, but two undefeated football teams right here in Muskogee, the 8th grade and the 9th grade Ruffers, the future stars of Friday Night Football at Indian Bowl. We'll do more of that, talking more Ruffer football live from Runt's Barbecue, that after this timeout.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times, when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
New Silverados up to $15,000 in total savings. Hi, Jay Hodge, and it really is the best time to buy at the all-new Jay Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee. Tell them, Rick.
Summer sale down of all new 2020s.
New Silverados up to $15,000 total savings.
Don't overpay, come see 15KJ.
New Silverados up to $15,000 total savings at the all-new Jay Hodge Chevrolet of Muskogee.
144 West Shawnee.
When you come home after a long day, Bravado Wireless Home Internet has you covered in your neighborhood or on your farm. For a limited time, our unlimited home internet has been discounted to only $49 per month with the purchase of a $99 router. And get this, the first 3 months of service is on us. So what are you waiting for? Make the switch today and visit us at bravadowireless.com for more info and to find a store near you. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
Pioneer Abstract, proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905. Serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee, or call Pioneer Abstract at 683-2904.
We are what makes Oklahoma proud. We are mothers. We are coaches, counselors, and teachers. We are community. We are innovators in medical technologies. We are researchers developing breakthroughs to diagnose, treat, and cure diseases. We are everyday people. We are Northeastern Health Systems.
There's an old school way of doing business here at James Hodge Ford. Exceptional service, a firm handshake, and the best price around on a new Ford vehicle. Of course, don't forget our Hodge promise to you, our customer, that's stronger than oak. That's just a great way of doing business.
The James Hodge Ford Promise. The best selection, the absolute best price, and service guaranteed. James Hodge Ford, 1200 North Main, Muskogee. Online at hodgeford.com.
In sports, having the right winning strategy is often the difference between winning and losing. The same is true when you need legal representation. For more than 15 years, the law offices of Michael A. Finnerty have successfully provided the winning strategy with excellence and integrity for the people of the Muskogee area in matters of personal injury, social security disability, and workers' compensation issues. The law office, Muskogee trusts Michael A. Finnerty, ready to develop a winning strategy. Michael A. Finnerty, 436 Court Street in Muskogee. Call 687-1155. Online at finnertylaw.com.
Welcome back to Runt's Barbecue. It's the Tuesday night edition of Muskogee River Football Coaches Show. Bill Huddleston along with the coach, Rafe Watkinson. Coach, going into the break, I asked you to flash back in the memory brains and think about all those wins and losses, championships, and exciting moments, but also to think about maybe what was the strangest circumstance for you as a head football coach. And I know it pales in comparison to anything we've had here in 2020.
Yeah, the closest thing, I mean, I've had a team that my very first year as a head coach out at Alva, Oklahoma, we were 3-7 and made the playoffs. So that was kind of strange. It came down to tie points and tiebreakers that we'd all beat each other. And we happened to have a few more points than what the other teams had. But by far the strangest I had was in 2004. We were number 2 team in the state. It was third game, homecoming, there at Guthrie. And I lost 3 quarterbacks on the first 8 plays of the game. My kid that would have been a for sure all-stater, and he was also not just our starting quarterback, but he was a starting strong safety, really good at both, and went on and played baseball at OU. But he open field kind of like Jason White did and tore his ACL first play of the game. Next kid goes in, who was pretty good. He's a 6'4" kid. That'd been in a good battle through the spring. He comes in. I thought, well, we're going to change up how we do. We went from a running team to a throwing team in a matter of one play. And he is throwing a pass, and he come over to the sideline and said, Coach, I think I broke my collarbone. And I felt up under his shoulder pad, and sure enough, there's a collarbone sticking up like a teepee under there. Wow. And that goes back to, we kind of thought that was divine intervention because that's the kid that ended up having, once they went the next day, they knew the collarbone was broke, but when they went to get the x-rays, they found the tumor in under there, and he had cancer, and I'm sure you've heard that story before over there, but it was pretty well statewide on that story. And so that was after 3 plays, and then my third teamer got in there, and he got a hip pointer on about the second play he was in, and so we were getting ready to go Wildcat the whole time, but luckily we had a little freshman back there named Kai Staley.
I was going to say, it's got to be Kai.
That we put in, and the rest was kind of history, but to lose 3 kids like that in 8 plays, it was just amazing. And I thought, and that was just game 3. We still had the whole district to go, and sure seemed like it was going to make for a long year. But then, we started out the same thing this year. You're losing 3 of our best players before season even starts, and so that was pretty well to it. But then, gosh, you start throwing in this COVID and other injuries that we've had and some stuff that's just went on. It's just it's a very strange year, to say the least. It has
aged all of us more than just 365 days from one year to the next. Yeah. We talked about this a little bit last week, and I want to go a little bit more into depth of it tonight with the OSSA's determination to open the playoffs to every football team. It kind of changed the way things were looking, but now you get these late season cancellations, and it further changes it. But kind of walk me through kind of what the eventual circumstances were as to determine, and I know there was a big row earlier about who voted, who didn't vote in the coaches' rankings in all the districts across the state, not just ours, where Bixby in the first poll that was released was showing number 3 in the rankings, which obviously we all knew that wasn't going to stay that way very, very long, and it has changed. But talk to me a little bit about what the procedure was to be and how it will continue to be, even though the Roughers don't play this Friday night or the final road game at Ponca City.
Well, the one thing that was brought about, and it's been about a month ago that it was actually brought about. There were some people, and I think it was Lawton schools that was bringing it up the most because, again, they had so many games that they had to cancel or had been canceled on them because of playing in Oklahoma City school, and the Oklahoma City schools have struggled all year long with it. So it was brought up that, and I think Norman's the one that finally, Norman Public Schools is the one that took it to the OSSA. It started gaining strength through some of the 6A1, and I think it was mainly 6A1 and 6A2 that was looking at it, because both of us only have 16 teams, so it wouldn't have disrupted anything. I mean, we already have the week of Thanksgiving, which is the semifinals, off, so it would have just put all games, 4 straight games. It wouldn't have changed anything.
Like it used to be back in the day.
Right. But after that, I think some of the A through 5A was saying, you know, we've had the same issues as everybody else. It's not just you guys. We're all into this together. And it made sense. And so and obviously whenever you bring to the OSSA that they're still needing to make up money from losing revenue last fall or winter with the wrestling and the basketball, because basketball is the cash cow for the OSSA.
Indeed it is.
And then in the baseball, you know, everybody goes, and so that also lost them a
Baseball,
bunch of
softball,
money.
spring golf, track,
So I
tennis
said,
track.
if it's brought about, actually they're going to be for it, because it'll help make them some more money. So it's been brought up. They've accepted it. That everybody that wants to can play in the playoffs. You know, there's going to be some that's opt out. Some of the people that I've already heard, like, you know, the 8th and 7th place people, I know Putnam City West is not going to play. They're going to try to play U.S. Grant, call it like a bowl game.
Yeah.
And just play, because they know they're not going to go and play Stillwater and win.
Right.
He said, I'd rather end on a positive note. I know, and I don't think I'm talking out of turn for Jason Madrano, but I talked to Jason the other day. You know, they're right now in the second week of their being on quarantine, and they're going to play Miami because they missed out being able to play them. Well, them and Miami are both over right now, and he said, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to play them like a bowl game that week of the playoffs, and we'll go from there. So there's a lot of places doing that, but, you know, everybody gets to choose. Now, how you get there, this is something new for football. It's something that basketball and baseball are very accustomed to,
Right.
but it goes down to the rankings. And so, therefore, whenever they brought it back to us, it wasn't really advertised that much from the OSSA. Lauren Montgomery was selected for us, since they were the league team and defending champions.
Right.
As the asterisk, and so we all thought that Lauren was the one, and he called each and every one of us, and I said, Lauren, we're all going to stick with what you say. I mean, obviously, you're first. You got to vote yourself, and then go down from there, and let's just use our district ratings of how it is, because it's really set up about the right way. I mean, they have, you know, Bixby at setting in 1, Choctaw's 2, Booker T's 3, and then you have 4, 5, and 6 that's all beat each other. Now, it'll come down to this week whenever Sand Springs plays Bartlesville, because Bartlesville got beat by Ponca City. Sand Springs beat Ponca City, but if somehow Bartlesville beat Sand Springs, you got kind of a 3-way tie there.
Then you go to the old-fashioned points.
You go to the points. It's simple as that. And then on the last 2, you just pick from there, because we didn't get to play each other. So, but instead of just doing it that way, we're supposed to vote, and not everybody knew that in any district. And so I think we only
that's the thing I want to say. Not everybody wanted to blame 6A2 and really hammer down on the coaches, and there was a big explosion in the metro media about shame on these coaches. They should care more about their kids. Hey, wait a minute. Understand what the policy was and realize that not everybody knew what the games or the rules were to play in the ball game. And then once it came out, then the doors got unlocked, so everybody could go back and vote.
So it wasn't just Lauren voting, and it wasn't just, Bernard over at Stillwater voting and stuff. So we all got on today. They opened it back up today, and everybody voted like it should be done. You know, obviously, how I put, and it's out there for public to see. But I went Bixby 1, which is a no-brainer, Choctaw 2, Booker T 3. I went Sand Springs 4, because I do feel like that's the next best team we've played in there. Went Ponca City 5 due to the fact that they beat Bartlesville, and then Bartlesville 6 and Putnam City West 7th, because you can't vote for yourself. What had happened, though, is with Lauren not be able to vote for himself, which I still don't understand how he's third, but I guess it's because Choctaw didn't vote, so they had 2 votes. He had to obviously put Choctaw 1, and then Ponca City, who voted, put Bixby 1, but Choctaw 2, so that made more points for there, and that's how it ended up. You know, Bixby's 3, because I had coaches calling me from the other side. How in the world is Bixby 3? They thought was trying to be sneaky and try to make their 3 play their 6 over there or something. Well, I don't think you have to do that for Bixby. You can put them 1.
You can put them against
they'll be wherever.
You can put them against some college teams.
Yeah, you could put them 8 and let them play Stillwater first round if you wanted to. But
right.
They'll take care of themselves. But, no, I think everybody in the state got it right, because, again, football coaches weren't used to having to rank, and it didn't come out like they're supposed to do. And so now then the OSSA did come back and gave directions yesterday, and I think everybody got it all right today. It's pretty simple, but again, football's never had to worry about it, and I hope we never have to again on voting and rankings because it should just play itself out.
You're glad for this election to be over with on who's going to go to the playoffs, like we're all anticipating the end of the election period.
All
next
elections
week.
I'm ready for to be over, yes.
And COVID to go right along with it. We're going to take another time out, and when we come back, we're going to talk about 2 undefeated football teams still playing football right here in Muskogee, and they will be in action on Thursday night. We'll talk about the rougher 8th grade and 9th grade football programs and some talented young athletes, future stars of Friday Night Football at Indy Bowl. We'll talk about those 2 teams when we return to Runt's Barbecue on the Muskogee Refer Football Coaches Show.
What makes Nissan and Muskogee different? It's our people and a driving desire to surpass the expectations of our customers. Well, that and an amazing lineup of trucks, sedans, and crossovers, like the advanced technology and serious muscle of the V8 400 horsepower Titan, or the sleek, smart SUV Rogue. Drive a little and save a lot at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to nissanofmuskogee.com. Come a part of our family.
Pain is temporary, pride is forever. At Excel Therapy, we want to be your athlete's advocate for excellence. We offer treatment methods that focus on strengthening muscles and improving flexibility to improve your overall performance. And when injury sets in, Excel Therapy can aid in the recovery process. We know it's important to get back in the game, so trust the comeback experts, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. From setback to comeback, the name you can trust, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
JTK Imaging Services of Muskogee brings mobile digital imaging to you anytime, anywhere. JTK Imaging Services offers parents-to-be excitement and comfort of 3D and 4D ultrasound with ultrasound as low as $100. Services at JTK Imaging Services also include mobile digital ultrasound and x-ray anytime you need them. Discover the difference online at jtkimagingservices.com. JTK Imaging Services of Muskogee at 1631 North Main.
Tradition. It's a word that means a lot. Just as the tradition of the Muskogee Roughers requires commitment of great players and coaches, Lesher Millsap Funeral Home takes pride in providing great value and commitment every day with a tradition of service to the families of the Muskogee area. Just like in football, tradition must be earned on every play, every day, not just in the final score. And that's why you can trust Lesher Millsap Funeral Home to be there for you when it counts the most. Lesher Millsap Funeral Home, proud to be part of the Muskogee tradition of excellence.
I'm Gil McLaughlin.
I'm Brian Kirkhart.
Thanks, Muskogee. Your hometown mortgage team, Muskogee Mortgage, the McLaughlin team, is proud to be Muskogee's preferred mortgage company.
We are extremely honored to serve you. Just like the Roughers have a game plan for victory, our daily game plan is to assist families to reach their financial goals.
Thanks, Muskogee, and good luck, Roughers, on your drive to win in 2020.
Your new home isn't so far away with the help of Muskogee Mortgage, 3241 Chandler Road, Muskogee, and online at muskogeemortgage.com.
The Muskogee Athletic Department would like to recognize its proud Rougher Athletics sponsors: Armstrong Bank, Oklahoma Army National Guard, Arvest Bank, Chick-fil-A Muskogee, Neighbors Building Neighborhoods, St. Francis Muskogee, Tommy Nix Auto Group, Springs Skilled Nursing and Therapy. Go Roughers!
Welcome back, Runt's Barbecue. Every Tuesday night, 6:30 to 7 this football season, we've been talking all things Muskogee Rougher football amidst diving into our own weekly selections from Russell's very, I was sort of say entertaining. It's not entertaining. Challenging menu, Ray, because it's hard to decide what you're going to pick because whatever you choose is going to be great.
It is. I think that's the toughest choices. But if you just close your eyes and point it at something, it's going to be pretty good. Everything that I've ever had in here in 7 years has been outstanding. And so I'm partial to the burn-ins and catfish. I don't think you can beat them. But everything else is pretty good. Of course, here I'm sitting with ribs on my plate right now, so it's pretty good too.
Well, speaking of football, and of course, as we mentioned earlier in this half hour, the regular season for the Muskogee Roughers, this Friday night scheduled game against Booker T. Washington, and then a week from Friday night's regular season finale at Ponca City has now been canceled due to issues surrounding the COVID pandemic, so we'll wait till November the 10th to find out if there will be any more football for the Ruffers here in 2020. But there will be action for the Ruffers, not on Friday night against Booker T, but Thursday night at Indian Bowl. The 8th and the 9th graders both entertain Tulsa, Washington, and both put undefeated records on the line.
It is. I believe both of these are for the conference championship because, unfortunately, they don't take the first round through. You know, we play everybody 4 times. We already played Broken Arrow also with our 9th grade and beat them, but then you play your 4, which are 4 in our league is the ones our size, which is Bartlesville, Sapulpa, Sand Springs, and then Booker T. For the 8th grade, it's Carver. That's Booker T's feeder school. And so we've already played Booker T once, and our 8th grade won up there at Booker T 28-6, and our freshmen won 14-0. So it'll be great ball games. But it is, I mean, our 8th grade is, that they don't have a lot of large numbers. They've got about 26, 27 kids, I think, but got an outstanding quarterback in Old Bird. He's going to be a good one. They got a good tailback or two. I like the line. Here's the thing that we like in both of those classes is both of them have some big linemen. Of course, with our 9th grade, Vernon
We've
has
seen
been,
some of those linemen on Friday night.
Vernon and Tion's have been starting all year long for us on defense and offense. And then at Choctaw, we also had Anthony Watson, who started at tight end for us.
Mm-hmm.
He played a little bit of defense early on. When Webb first got hurt, we had him some against McGinnis, so he's been in there quite a bit. We also started our tailback with that group, Israel Martin, who we really like. Started him against Choctaw as a free safety back there. And so we've had several of those. And then our Arion Parrish has played a lot of nose guard for us. I look at their Choctaw, and 2 of our 3 defensive linemen were starting freshmen. And they were holding their own. And, Choctaw has a very good offensive line and a very good team.
Right.
So it's promising. You never know. You want these kids to keep growing. We want them, obviously, to win the championship Thursday night. But then they got to continue to how they got there. And things get a little different once you get you can't carry a whole team with 6 or 7 kids. You have to have 16 or 17 that's going to keep on, and there's that many in those groups. We just got to keep them all interested and keep coming and realizing. And one thing that I think's been just a huge benefit for us that Dr. Mendenhall and Dr. Parker both was adamant about getting started, and we finally got it done. We've all been wanting it for 7 years, and that's to get junior high, a strength and conditioning program in our junior high, and we were finally able to put it together. All the coaches this year went out and knocked out some walls. The maintenance crews, the moving crew with Scott Schroeder and his crew, Macnac, they all helped get everything cleaned out, and we added on from that wrestling room and joined the existing weight room out there, and then brought a bunch of weights from the high school out to there. And I'll tell you, for a junior high weight room, it's about as good as you could ever ask. I mean, till I got here, it's probably better than the high school weight room I've ever had. So it was outstanding, and by sending Coach Hill out there for 2 hours a day, he has the 8th graders and the 7th graders and lifting, and we will see dividends now, but it's going to be the future where we're really going to see dividends, because we get these kids a lot of times in the summers for summer pride,
right?
But you've got them for 7 weeks, and then after that they don't lift again until the next summer. Where we had an in-season program, we're going to have an off-season program, and I think that's where it's going to pay so much dividends, is by getting these kids to lifting as 7th graders and continuing all the way through the high school.
What time are the games get set for Thursday night at Indy Bowl, Muskogee against Booker T?
I believe we start at 6 o'clock. It's either 5:30 or 6. One of the two. I think it's 6.
It is 6
because
o'clock.
of that Tulsa coming to us. But and they always put down an hour later. But we all know that a 7th grade or 8th grade football team never only lasts that long. So
yeah.
we will, it'll be probably 6 and closer to 7:30 before the freshmen would start. But both should be great games. I think that we've got a little bit of everything on that 9th grade group. They play great defense. They play great offense. They can run the ball. Jacob Jones throws the ball well. We've got a couple of really nice receivers in there with McGee and Testerman. And I think that it should be a very entertaining game, because, again, up there we beat them 14-0, and we'll see what we can do on Thursday night.
Well, I don't know if our camera could tell, but, with all the frustrations of 2020 – and all the things that have sidelined the varsity football program, there was a sparkle in the old coach's eye. when he got to talking about these 8th and 9th graders because, I mean, they're sitting there looking at going into Thursday night's encounter undefeated and a chance to finish their middle school football program experiences, at least for the 9th graders, as they migrate into the varsity football program next year. But to go out winning and bring that winning mentality, you can't buy that. You can't bottle that, Ray. If it's something you've got to experience, got to build, and these kids are getting it.
Winning's habit, just like losing is, and they have. And, you know, again, we've gotten a lot of miles out of 3 or 4 of those freshmen this year. They play an entire game on Thursday night and then turn around because, like Vernon, he's been starting for our varsity line the whole entire year. And, of course, Tion's been getting more playing time as we go along, and so has Anthony. But to have those kids go out and play a complete game on Thursday night and turn around and play again at a larger level lets you know that they're going to be pretty special players.
They certainly are, and we look forward to their success Thursday night at Indy Bowl against Tulsa, Washington. Again, no football for the varsity football team this Friday night, scheduled against Booker T, and next week it was scheduled to be at Ponca City Hall. Now has been canceled due to the COVID outbreak. We'll keep you up to date through MuskogeeAthletics.com as well as on Rupper TV on Facebook as well as on Twitter as to the future progress of Rupper football. Rafe, it's always great to be here. I'm going to finish my dinner before I go to the house, but as always, in victory or defeat or in postponements, it's a great day to be a Rupper.
Yeah.
See you later, everybody.